Hello, 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 and hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Backstage at Jubilee Theatre. I am Wambui Richardson, Executive Artistic Director here at the one and only Jubilee Theatre, located at 506 Main Street, right in the heart of Sundance Square. And I'm alone yet again. Me and Miss Kenya, we're going through some things right now. She's working on another show downstairs as she's getting ready for the staged reading. And with so much going on in the month of February, everybody's spread out. So please be patient with us. My counterpart will be back real soon. But until then, it's just me and you. Amen? Just me and you. Now, before we go ahead and get started with this beautiful gentleman right here we got with us, as usual, let me go on ahead and do our church announcements for the day. First off, this Monday, February 23rd at 7 o'clock, please make sure you join us for the staged reading of I'll Be Damned If. If you know anything about the story of Idlewild, it's a great story to learn about the people that were behind the scenes of creating Idlewild. Think about it like this. Idlewild was the Motown before Motown. Okay, so it's a great opportunity to learn about a great black neighborhood, a community, and the people behind that community and the struggles they went through, going through and coming out of it. So it's a really, really great staged reading. It's our second staged reading of the show. This is a product that is brought to us by way of our New Works Development Series and sponsored by Amon G. Carter and the Sir Richardson Foundation. And guess what? The staged reading is free. So make sure you go to jubileetheater.org, say, I want to come on out and come see us. And I intentionally did it on a Monday. So all of the artists out there, we are typically in rehearsal any other day of the week. Mondays are typically an artist day off. Come on out, have a day off with us, have a great time for the one and only I'll Be Damned If. Now, I'm coming to you live from the set of Hype Man, and this show is going to close on the 28th. So we got 2 weekends left of this show. Come on out, let's have a great time. But guess what? Immediately after this show closes, we're going to go directly into rehearsal for From Test to Testimony, a new gospel musical. Why? Because this is an adaptation of James Weldon Johnson's God's Trombones. What happens when you take some of the best of gospel music, combine it with the great sermons of James Weldon Johnson, and create a musical that asks provocative questions, challenging moments, and uplifts the Lord all at the same time. So please come on out. Let's clap our hands, stomp our feet, have a good time, praise the Lord, and ask some questions all at the same time. And then finally, this week on the 23rd as well, the 22nd, Irma P. Hall Awards. So all of the actors out there, please go to Irma P. Hall website. Go ahead and get your tickets for that event now. Jubilee Theatre is nominated in every single category: best director, best musical, best lead actor, best supporting actor, costuming, lighting, sound. Every single category Jubilee Theatre is in. And why? Because every artist we touch comes from right here in the DFW area. Every artist that you see, every investment that you make at Jubilee Theatre is an investment in the community right here in your own backyard. So come on out. Let's see what the best of the Irma P. Hall Awards has. And by next week, when you see me again, let's see how many awards I can lay out on the table. Amen? Let's speak it into existence. Now, I got the blessing, the joy, and the honor to be joined with the one and the only Chris Murdaugh.
What's going on?
Did I say it right?
Yeah, you said it right, man. A lot of people mispronounce it, I was growing up, I was the only one with that last name, so, until that little Netflix documentary came out.
I know. Do I really want it now?
Yeah,
Got it.
Them crazy folks on there, but yeah, you did a good job.
I love it. So for those of you who've had the joy of coming on out to see this show, Brother Chris is the musical supervisor of this show. And so before we get talking deep about Hype Man, first tell us about you.
Well, my name is Chris Murdaugh. I am a resident of Texas, born and raised in Texas. I've lived in Houston, raised in Dallas, graduated from Duncanville High School.
Love it.
Went to Texas Southern University, communications major. When I first got to TSU, I was kind of lost. I tried theater for about a year, but I wanted to do the acting side,
Gotcha.
but they pushed me to the side. And what ended up happening was BET came to our college and they had a Black College Tour where I had an opportunity to do some rap battles. And my boy was like, yo, get into it. So I got on stage and I battled like 5 guys. And then at the end of that week, I was on TV. And then the next week I was on TV. And then I started getting phone calls like, yo, we see you on TV. So I said, you know what? Let's get this music thing a try.
I love it.
So I had a big song back in the day called Rag Daddy. Rag Daddy was like one of the biggest club dance records that came out. And it got me blessed with a major deal with Warner Brothers. And since then, I've just been finding my way. I've been doing music forever, since a kid, but professionally since about 2008, 2009. And I've dabbled and dabbled into acting. And then right around 2015, Fred Hammond gave me an opportunity to act. He was putting like this movie/TV show together. We did like a whole pilot series for like a month.
Love it.
And what ended up happening was I ended up meeting this lady named Consuela, and she gave me another opportunity. You know how it is, like word of mouth.
One begets the next and begets the next.
Right. And so if we fast forward, now that I have kids, I'm trying to, I don't want to say clean up my image, but just give them a different perspective than what they can Google. Because my rap name has always been Fat Pimp.
I was about to get into that.
We'll touch on that. But So long story short, I'm just at a place in my life now where I want to touch as many positive things as possible. And acting has been something I've always wanted to do, so I've been able to do that. And when you're successful in music, people see opportunities to bring you in a situation. This is the first time somebody actually reached out to me and allowed me to rap the way I rap and not tell me to change anything.
I love it.
And when we brought this to the table with these actors, I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie, I was so nervous the first day I met everybody because I didn't know how I was gonna go. But once I seen those professionals put it together and bring it to the stage, it makes me want to just keep going. Like I'm gonna be sad when this is over because now I'm like, what's next?
I love it.
I want to be able to keep going. You know what I mean? So.
And how do we use something like this for your platform to take you to that next level as an artist, as a rapper, and to be seen as more than just a rapper? And there's nothing wrong with just saying I am a rapper, because ultimately a rapper is a storyteller.
It is,
you know?
But at the same time, it's like I'm around different walks of life. I coach baseball, and my oldest son, he's in high school now. And when I meet these parents, and the first thing they ask you is, hey, what do you do? You tell them who you are, you tell them what you do, and you kind of want to tell them more. You don't want to just tell them I'm just this.
Yeah.
I want to be like, hey, I do it all.
I love it. Talk to us about, before we dig into this show, talk to us about the choice for you, because every artist goes through this, where we get to a certain place in our lives and in our career where we go through a metamorphosis.
Right.
That's how I went from my government name to Wambui.
Right.
You go through a metamorphosis and you realize this is who I am now,
right,
and this is how I want the world to perceive me.
Right.
So when was that moment for you to make that transformation from Fat Pimp to Chris?
So in high school, I was in history class when I got the name. My friend April, she cracked a joke because I always used to rap about girls. That was my thing. It was girls, 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 girls. She gave me the nickname. The nickname was cool until I got to New York. I did a Sirius satellite radio interview with Sway in the Morning, and that was the first time I ever had somebody give me a side eye about my name. And he was asking me have I ever indulged in that lifestyle? And I'm like, I always had girls, but I didn't think about it. Fast forward to I was on set for another movie, and their publicist was put me on the phone with somebody to interview me, and the whole time we were doing the interview, she was real dry with me, real dry. And I told her, I said, I don't know if I want to put Fat Pimp in there because I'm thinking about changing my name because that's not who I am. She cut the recording off and cried on the phone, man, for like 5 minutes, said she used to be human trafficked.
Wow.
And you never realize what somebody else's story is. She told me, she said, when I heard your name, it cringed. It made me cringe. So I said, you know what, eventually I'm gonna have to let this go. And I want to say sometime in the last 2 or 3 years, me and my manager was like, yo, we need something different. We've reached the ceiling with Fat Pimp. There's nothing wrong with who I once was, but now it's time to be me. I don't have to put the moniker on. I can be Chris Murdaugh in any room. I can go do politics. I can do acting. I can be a coach. I can walk inside my son's schools and not feel like I got to tuck my name away.
Yeah.
You know what
or
I mean?
you're not walking into the school and somebody can yell out, "Where's Fat? Oh, there go Fat Pimp."
And it
then-
happened. It happened recently because I was picking my son up from school and the principal recognized me. And when he said my name, I said, no, we're not doing that in here.
Please,
Regardless,
not at the schoolhouse.
Not at the school.
Yeah.
But Black Friday of this past year, we released my first single. And when it first came out, everybody was like, "Yo, where's the Fat Pimp name?" I'm like, "He don't exist no more.
I love that.
He's dormant. He's tucked away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we run with Chris Murdaugh, and hey, if they don't like it, then you don't really like me as a person.
Because the name doesn't denote what the talent is
No,
and what the
man.
talent does and the voices and the stories that you're telling.
I grew up in a Baptist household, and not saying my parents were supportive. Rest in peace, my dad. He's supportive, but my mom, she ain't never really ever like gave me that support. But now she be sharing my stuff on there. And plus, when we did the news interview, she's able to smile about that.
That's my baby.
Yeah, she's able to smile about it, and it says my name on there, and that made her feel good. And once I seen it on TV recently, I was like, you know what, it's time. So
I love it.
That's where we at with it.
So let's dig into Hype Man. We brought you in because we knew we had actors
Right.
who were going to be on this stage having to rap. Amen. And just because it's written in a rhythm doesn't mean that rhythm everybody's going to be able to pick up.
Correct.
Then you and Charles also made a very distinctive decision to say we want to base this in Southern rap.
Right.
So talk to me from the perspective of working with actors who've never rapped a day in their life,
Right.
helping them to find the rhythm and the cadence, and what is Southern rap? Because I think when we think about rap, we think East Coast versus West Coast. You think New York style or L.A.
Right.
You think a little bit of Chicago,
Right.
but you don't think Memphis has its own sound.
Right.
Texas has its own style. Every region has its own twang because every region has its own accent. So those things are a part of it. So talk to us about that.
Well, when you think about Southern music, especially in Texas, you got to think about slavery. You got to think about, soul. You got to think about everything that we done went through as a culture, and everything down here was from the heart. And I feel like when you're trying to create that music sound, people have to be able to hear it and understand it. Not too lyrical, not too complicated. You want to have it just enough where they can understand it. And what I like to call it is like the Southern cadence. It's like we have more of a melodic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything with us is like we can say like Jubilee Theatre. That's how we are.
There's a natural rhythm.
You
that
know,
picks
right?
up to it.
And that to me makes it it catches here first. Not just your ears, not just your brain, but when it gets your heart and your soul, that's when you know you got them. And so for me, the first thing I did was when I hear the beats, I listen to them, but I also tell myself, if I was on that stage in front of these people, how could I deliver it so that your typical older white male or Hispanic female or black grandmother can follow along and not feel disrespected, but feel like they're a part of that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can rap it and then you get people's facial expression like, I don't understand what's going on.
It went right over.
Right.
It was so fast, I didn't
Right.
know what you just said.
Right. So what I tried to do was make it to where, I don't want to say I dumbed it down, but I dumbed it down enough to where anybody can catch it. And I was so shocked at the response that the actors gave me when they heard it, because I was nervous when we were playing it. I'm like, I hope they like it. But when I seen they were able to follow along and catch on and then actually deliver it, it made it worth it, man. So
What was your approach to working with I don't want anybody to ever walk into a room and say, I can rap, and just because it's the easiest thing in the world. You're just making things rhyme.
Right.
What was your approach to working with novice actors who, yes, they're strong actors and they can storytell and create characters all day long, but that aspect of it, it's not, their tongues weren't made for that.
Right.
How do you approach helping them get there?
the first thing I did, I call it like the icebreaker. Once everybody gets introduced and the weird feelings in the room, I go to each one of the actors and I ask them the same question. I say, hey, what's your name? First thing I say is, hey, where you from? Because that'll help me understand them more as a person. And then I ask the question, if you pull out your phone right now, who are you listening to? Once they start saying, hey, I'm listening to this person, this female, or this like this type of instruments or whatever, I say, you know what? That was a mental note. I actually had my laptop the day that I met everybody, and I typed in who each character was and their background, who they listened to. That way, when I got home, I could picture, okay, when he's delivering this, I'll rap like this, so he'll be able to follow along. Like one of the actors was really feeling J. Cole. And at the time, I had just got through listening to J. Cole. That made it easier. I'm a diehard Drake fan. I knew that if I incorporated the two, it'll be easy, easy transition. But I tell anybody that's watching this, if you're ever helping somebody learn how to deliver music, like rapping, singing, or poetry, whatever it is, you have to tap into who that person is. I make a lot of my money behind the scenes writing for other artists, and the reason why I've learned to make so much money is because I actually learned that person. You can't just come to somebody and say, hey, rap this, do it like this, that's it. That's boring.
Because that means I'm imposing something on you as opposed to pulling something, extrapolating something from you.
And that to me is the motivation when I'm doing things behind the scenes. You got to learn the person. Now, I didn't have enough time to really learn them for like years and stuff like that. But to be able to come in and during rehearsals, just learn them and come back to the table and say, hey, this is what we came up with. And we tweaked a few things during rehearsals because sometimes they were performing and I wouldn't say anything, but then I got to say something.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
One of the things you and Charles decided on was, yes, we're going to base this music in Texas, but you're not going to localize it to just the DFW.
Right.
So there's a taste of Houston, there's a taste of Austin, there's a taste of various portions of Texas.
Right.
For you, how do you define the ear or really the tongue for what's the difference between Houston rap versus Dallas rap versus Austin?
So, I'm going to be all the way honest. I know some people might hate me for saying that. I got my core rap from Houston, like how I started, because I was born in Houston, moved to Dallas. What Dallas taught me was my swag, my charisma, my delivery. Houston has always had like the artists like Scarface and Ghetto Boys and things like that, and UGK was one of my favorite groups growing up. So I always listened to that. They were more laid back, more your chill type artists, but Dallas has always had an energetic, kind of cocky little attitude. You know what I mean?
Not the cocky.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
And so when you mix that together, and then when we think about Austins, the San Antonios, they bought their business. That's the tech. That's really like the tech area now. You know what I mean? And the college cities and stuff. So what I like to do is I call it the gumbo. I like to put everything in one pot and serve it to the people. There are times where it may sound a little more Houston on certain type of tracks, but at the same time, you could be like, yeah, it sounds Houston, but I still hear that Dallas in there, or vice versa.
With the influx of different cultures coming into Texas, do you find that sometimes rap is starting to pick up more of a Latino feel or Afro-Caribbean or African? How are those particular cultures affecting rap as a whole to kind of give it that a new or evolving Texas feel?
See, I think a lot of times people forget about the Latin community. Let's start out with the Mexican community. Because when I grew up, all my neighbors was either black, Caucasian, they was Mexican. And so I've always had the Mexican influence in my life, the Mexican heritage. Selena is still my crush, you know what I mean? Like, I have always loved, like, Tejano music. One thing about Texas, you get the big Nigerian community. Like my best friend growing up, Nigerian, and I learned about his culture going to his mama's house, eating with him, and you learn their musical sound. So when you think about when I was a kid, fast forward to everybody's moving to Texas. Texas is a melting pot. The sound out here now is evolving. I think maybe in the early 2000s it sounded one way, but I think now when you listen to it, man, you can hear the Afro beats now. not sure if you're familiar with like Dominican culture. Like, man, they got like the dembo. Like it's like reggaeton. It's like it's all that together, man. And when you hear Texas nowadays, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it can go anywhere.
So last week, we had one of the actors, we had Pinnacle here, and we were talking about cultural appropriation versus appreciation.
Right.
And with this ever-growing evolution of music, number one, pretty much every musical genre in America, Black people created.
Right.
We're at the foundations of it, from its rhythm, from its twang, from its feel. We're there. The question becomes, as more cultures are coming into it, do we have a responsibility or an acceptance of our music isn't ours anymore? It's America's music, and it should grow and evolve as the cultures come into it. And is there an appreciation that other cultures should pay homage to before you walk in and say and take over something? Is there a responsibility to respect where the base came from?
Let me ask you a question. If your grandmother had a crock pot and she let your neighbor use it, right? Mm-hmm. Your neighbor never said thank you. He just kept giving it to other people to keep using it.
Pass it around.
How you think your grandmama would feel? If nobody ever said thank you.
Yeah.
She would feel away, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
She gonna get a crock pot, number one. Who has it?
Who has it? And what'll happen after so long, by the time she does say something, they'll look at grandmama like, why are you complaining? Mm-hmm. Almost like you should just let it go.
Yeah. Everybody else done had a turn. Yeah.
That's the climate that we are in right now. And to me, that I think that is terrible, because the fact that you have to explain to somebody where something came from instead of just giving them their props, I have a problem with that. I have no problem with anybody, any nationality or race, gender, anything, using something that came from somebody else, because I borrow from people. I grew up listening to hip hop, but I also listen to rock and roll. I also listen to country, heavy metal, grunge. I remember when Nirvana was the thing. I remember watching MTV and loving all those good pop songs.
Yeah.
But I like to pay homage. I borrow from Louisiana, so this is something I don't tell too many people. When I make my music to this day, I am heavily influenced by Louisiana. Shreveport down to New Orleans, I'm borrowing it. My first time going to D.C., I got influenced by their culture. Anybody that's close to me knows I am so West Coast influenced. My wife is from Compton. I love West Coast music. I always try to give people their credit and pay homage whenever I do interviews or I meet somebody from that area. I'm saying that to say this. If you borrow from somebody, you need to give credit. We have so many people outside the culture coming and taking and never ever say, you know what, let me shout out to the Temptations, or let me shout out to Quincy Jones, who created this. I have a problem with that. I seen Kid Rock bashing Bad Bunny about the Super Bowl. And my whole thing was, I don't care what party you represent. That's here nor there. But you came into this game off hip-hop's back. I remember when he first got on, everything was rapping. It was the Adidas, the big gold chains. And then once you became successful, you turned your back on that community. And I have a problem with that. I feel like that's not cool. Yeah. I love Justin Timberlake because he always says where he got his stuff from.
Love it.
And when I tell people that, even my son, he's so young, and their generation knows nothing about history because they've gotten rid of it. He knows nothing. He thinks rock and roll is what rock and roll is now, and country music. I'm like, no, that came from us. Yeah, I want to show him so much, but I don't want to
turn him against or make him jaded. But at the same time, there's a need for respect.
Right.
And there's a need to understand that before there was Elvis, there was a black woman that Elvis took his music from.
Right.
And he sung her song because she couldn't get on the radio.
I actually showed my wife the Elvis movie. And I actually enjoyed the Elvis movie because I felt like they actually told what I thought was the truth. When they showed the woman and how she came up with them songs. Yeah. Even when I watched the Dolomite movie, it made me understand that people always take from other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just a firm believer in give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. There's this saying of copying someone is a compliment.
Yeah.
Meaning you're doing something so great. We want to do it. We want to do that too.
Right.
But you always have to honor the original source. And so
Right.
sometimes, as I look at generations that are coming up, things feel like they're so mixed and so intermeshed that they don't understand that before there was a this, there was a this. Before there was a rock and roll, there was a Jimi Hendrix. If Jimi Hendrix didn't do this, the Beatles would have never been influenced to do X, Y, and Z. So there's a history that is important, not just because for the sake of history, but for the sake of giving respect where respect is due.
Right.
And I think sometimes as a culture, so much of what we have done in America is taken from us or not given credit to us, that there are people that grow up in the world thinking that black people haven't done anything. Black people haven't contributed a damn thing to America. When you realize just touching the light bulb, a black man made sure that light bulb worked. You know what I'm saying?
We need to just be more vocal. I think the biggest problem in our society, and I'm just going to say America, we're too quiet. We're too quiet. Every race is too quiet. I don't care what race they are, they're quiet. I remember when the protests and stuff was going on with George Floyd. Now, whether you agree or not, that's up to you. But I seen so many people in my community didn't say nothing. I have a problem with that.
Gotcha.
I'd rather you speak your mind and say what's on your mind. We need that. We need people to know how you feel and to speak up. If something's an injustice, you gotta say something. I'm not saying you need to go to the courthouse and stand out there and march, but say something.
What is your way to give? And that's also for those of you who have not come out to see Hype Man, because we got 2 more weeks to go. That's something that happens in the show. Pinnacle is in a situation where he has to make a decision, And as an artist, you're going to be going through this, and you probably already have. As artists, sometimes we have to ask ourselves, when is the time for action? When is the time to make the call? Because sometimes as an artist, you may look at example. It has nothing to do with rap. Eartha Kitt. Eartha Kitt, there was a time in her career where she spoke up and she got blackballed. She got blacklisted, and her career went in a completely different trajectory for decades. As an artist, what part of you as an artist has a responsibility to respond to the world, and what part of you also has a responsibility as a black man who has children, make sure his children can eat?
That's the toughest thing about being a socialite and being an entertainer, is understanding consequence. No matter what you say nowadays, you're gonna have backlash. Two things. I don't even know what we can talk about here, but I just the spirit is telling me to say this. So the first thing I'm gonna say, I crack a lot of jokes online. I was at a sandwich spot in Arlington. I can't even think the name of it, but they had a Trump hat in there. And I put the hat on and was on TikTok, clowning. I'm like, give me the black sandwich. I was being funny. In my head, me and my manager had a whole argument because there's a lot of record executive women who were offended by that. Didn't know that they were even watching my page.
You were just playing.
I was just playing. It was content. Fast forward, Durant Bernard, he just won a Grammy, and he's very openly, flamboyantly gay, right? I put in the comments, I'm so proud of you, bro. I just love your vocals. And a dude in the comment was just like, oh, you gay, bro. You supporting the gays. And I'm saying like, okay. What does that?
Yeah.
Like, for me, I felt offended because it's like, I'm getting ridiculed for supporting another human being. Damn their color or what they represent. I'm supporting another human being and people are bashing me. It don't matter what you do. People are going to bash you. Yeah. So what I tell people is whatever you stand on, your morals, your principles, your beliefs, your values, speak up. Our children need to see more people not being ashamed to be who they are. We need that, man. Especially with the way the politics and stuff is going nowadays. I was scared to speak how I felt, because I was one of those people on the fence when the elections was going on, and then the way things are going now, something has to change to where people say, you know what? Let me say how I really feel. I might inspire you to stand up the next time, or I might inspire my kids' friends or their mom to stand up and say something. We need more people, not just in entertainment, but just all around the world in general to speak up. Because I feel like nowadays people are so worried about being canceled or blackballed. You're going to be blackballed regardless whether they tell you or not.
One side or the other. Somebody got something to say.
Listen, I got a name that got me blackballed. I lost an endorsement deal with a video game company because the guy in the meeting didn't like my name, you know. So I understand. I understand completely. So
And so one of the things I want to just plant a seed with all of the people out here that are going to, come in and listen to this, but also come out and see the show
Right.
is I think as an artist, and I think that's what has drawn me to be an artist, is it is that unique opportunity to address these types of issues, not preach, not get on a soapbox and tell people this is what you should do, this is where you should go in the world, but it is to put up a reflection so that you, the audience, can ask yourself, do you like what you see?
Right.
And if so, good. And if not, what do you want to change about it? And to create art that allows us to ask important questions. And honestly, sometimes just to create art that allows us to, for just a minute, escape the craziness of what's happening in the world. Not everything has to be a message.
Right.
Sometimes you just need to turn it off and just enjoy your moment. Listen to great music, listen to a great story, and just be. And I think that's what art lets us do.
music, art, everything is like you said, it's almost like God's way of saying, all right, whatever's going on in the world, we get a timeout.
I love that.
Come
on, time out.
Yeah, I'm a funny moment. I have a set of white friends that I hang with, and a lot of times they say things that I might not necessarily agree with, but when music is on, we all seem to vibe.
Got it.
I go golfing with them and everything, and they say I hear it all. But when the music is playing, it's like, damn, you feel like you all grew up together in the same household, and I think that's what we need to bring to the world. That's why I'm so glad that this play is equally for everybody, if that makes sense. And they're gonna love it though. They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it.
And you only got 2 more weeks to go. So go to jubileetheater.org or feel free to give our box office a call as I get my Miss Kenya on. 817-338-4411, jubileetheater.org. Please give us a call Tuesday through Friday, or just go online and either get your Flex Pass or go ahead and buy your ticket to Hype Man. Now, before we get going, what's coming down the pike next for you?
So I just got cast for a TV series coming out called I Want It All. And this is the first TV series that I've shot where I actually have a main role and not just
All right.
not just a typical walking in, oh, I know him. Nah, I got a whole character. I got that. I got a couple auditions coming up, one in Detroit, another one in Houston. And I'm just trying to keep the acting side going. I got a new single out called Right One. It's Chris Murdaugh, Right One, featuring Cody Blake out of Houston. I don't think there's no cussing on there. So, yeah, y'all can press play on there. No cussing on there. We got that going on, and I'm just trying to stay busy and active. I definitely want to dive into the plays. I've never done a play. I've always been behind the scenes, but it seems like it's a lot harder than doing behind the camera.
I love that. Yeah. So for those other rappers out there, what would you say to encourage them to branch out of their genre or to put their genres in other places, to do theater, to do movies, to do commercials, to go into spoken word and other genres, exploring it? What would you say to them?
Both cameras. Wherever you're comfortable at, get out that room. You need to be in places, in situations that you are uncomfortable and unsure about yourself. Why? Because that pushes you to try harder, strive harder. And I tell people this all the time, man. Look, I love my friends, but I don't want to hang around my friends. I want to be around people I do not know so that I can learn from that set of people. So if you're an artist, producer, you thought about acting, you thought about doing poetry, man, just do it. You got these phones now. You can literally prop your phone up and put a video out and say, you know what, I don't know how to act. And somebody teach me, somebody's going to say something to you. We got too many apps nowadays to make it possible. So now you watching this, live out your dreams. I'm
loving it. So before I get ready to close out, if you don't mind, I'm going to close us out and I'm going to send it to you if you want to, give us a little sampling of what your talent expertise is. I'm gonna close us out and I'm gonna shoot it to you and you just freestyle and do you, okay? So remember, beautiful people out there, This is Hype Man, closing February 28th. Get your tickets now. We're in the last 2 weeks.
Hey.
So come on out. Let's have a great time. Let's have a great conversation. And as usual, our Sunday show, our final Sunday performance is almost sold out because everybody loves the last night of a show. So come on out and enjoy. Right after that, we're going straight into rehearsal from Test to Testimony, a gospel musical. Come on out. Let's have a great time. Let's have a great conversation. Come see us this Monday, the 23rd, for the stage reading of I'll Be Damned If. And most importantly, beautiful people, always remember, I am, we are Jubilee Theatre. Now, giving it over to the one and only Brother Chris.
Hey, y'all, man. It's your boy, Chris Murdaugh, the rap consultant. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets. Don't be late. We only got 2 more weekends left. It's over on the 28th. We at the Jubilee Theatre, Fort Worth, Texas. You can pull up in a Honda, Chevrolet, or a Lexus. Make sure y'all telling your boy Chris sent you. Get your tickets. I'm going to show you what I've been through. All right, we're going to give him a little freestyle, man. That's it, man. Appreciate y'all, man. I was trying to keep it all the way G-rated, man, on the spot. But, hey, 2 weekends left. Be there. I'll see y'all this weekend.
I love it.
For sure.
Stay blessed.